other day, probably just after we were pushed into a lockdown we weren't necessarily expecting, I found that it was heavy going. I found that last year sometimes too. And a bit after that, I started to see this picture God showed me. It was like there was a big dark brown or black dot right in front of my eyes, in front of my face, in front of my body, that kind of looked like it was all consuming. But then I noticed, and God showed me, there was light around the edge, and as I kept looking and kept looking, I noticed that the light got bigger and bigger and bigger, and the blackness, the darkness, got smaller and smaller and smaller until it was totally overwhelmed by the light. And I think that that's a picture of what God's showing us, that He's in control, that He's the light, and that what's going on around us might seem at times to be overwhelming and looming in front of our faces, in front of our bodies, but in fact we need to look past to see the light, to see that God is in control always, and He knows where it's all heading and what's all happening. And the most important thing we can do is keep looking to Him, keep praying, keep seeking God and finding out what God wants us to know right now for each one of us, for our church, for our community, for our state and for our country. So let's keep praying, let's look to God and see that He is the one that holds everything in the palm of His hand.